Siya Kolisi, the first South African black captain, has the opportunity to make history in United Nations. Yes, just one more time. Well, not one more time, many times after that. But this is an opportunity for South Africa to really go in and make history. We kick off against the All Blacks and then we face the rest of our pool games. We enter in hectic quarter-final, semi-final, and maybe even the dream final against the All Blacks, whoever it may be. Whoever we meet, it's going to be a special occasion. So I wish all the opponents all the best of luck, but to my Springboks, big love, big respect. You have led us all this way, and I can't wait to watch and scream for you along this World Cup. All the best. Stay safe. Make us proud. And remember one thing. Never give up. Thank you. Go boys.
Hi guys, Howzit? Welcome back to my Afrikaans-speaking followers. G'day to everyone else. Yes, it is lineup time as the Springboks prepare for their semi-final clash against. Man, I'm not gonna mince words, man. My most least liked of rivals here. I would say my most hated team to play against. And that would be those dreaded Poms of England. But obviously, I first off want to thank all the new subscribers to the channel. I really appreciate it. I know this is a unique kind of thing with an American accent talking about the Springboks and the game of rugby at large. And I do appreciate all of your continued support, banter, all that. Even if it's just talking cack to me or whatever, I enjoy all of it. And obviously, we can't go without the dedication of one Mr. Gareth Mason. G-Man, walking tall, we're dedicating this World Cup to you and your memory and how it lives on, and I am proof of that legacy, as you are a big supporter of mine, kind of pushing me to get into this amongst other commentators, 2 cents being one of them as well. So it's down to 4 teams. Only 2 go to the final. So let's go ahead and look at some of the history with these English bastards. With the English. Going back to the last 14 games, we are 9-4-1 against them going back to autumn of 2008. Damn, 15 years ago. I was much younger. Anyways, the biggest win coming in autumn of 2008, a 42-6 victory by the Boks. The biggest loss coming in November of 2016, it was a 37-21 loss to those Poms. We are 4-1 at Rugby World Cups with this English squad. The only loss coming in 2003, the solitary Northern Hemisphere 1 World Cup that year with Johnny Wilkinson and co. We're 1-1 with this English team since the last World Cup in 2019. England is undefeated so far. The biggest opponent they have beaten is Argentina, who is also a semifinalist team. But let's just face facts here, guys. Look at the pool they were in. If they had been in Pool A or Pool B, they would have been Italy or Scotland. That's just the fact of the matter. They can argue all they want. They would have been Italy or Scotland in Pool A or B. The Boks solitary loss to the at then number 1 ranked Ireland. Once again, I hyped those guys up, and then they just laid the biggest goose egg. It's just another excuse to show the meme I made. There you go. Last weekend, England knocked out Fiji. Fiji just pretty much handed it to them on a silver platter. Just horrible play in the second half. And the Boks beat host France by a single point with Bongi Manambi, man of the match, and what some are calling one of the greatest matches of rugby ever played. You guys have seen my reaction video. Any of you guys that are with me on the live, man, I was just on the edge of my seat for that game. What a beautiful clash it was. The weather report is 75% chance of rain and 1456 Fahrenheit for my Fahrenheit using friends. That is going to be a chilly and wet game. May go in the favor of the English as they are used to this kind of weather. Springboks not so much. But, man, yeah. Steve Borthwick has announced his starting 15 for this one, and we will thusly go through with the starting 15. Front row will consist of Joe Marler and Dan Cole at prop, with Jamie George at hooker, Maro Itoje and George Martin the locks, Courtney Laws and Tom Curry the flankers, with Ben Earl at number 8. Alex Mitchell gets the start at scrum half, with Fuckboy Farrell captaining the side at fly half. Elliot Daly and Johnny May will be the wingers, with, I could say, veteran at this point, Manu Tuolagi and Joe Marchant at center, with Freddie Stewart at 15. A 5-3 split coming off the bench for Steve Borthwick and company, with Theo Dan, Ellis Genji, and Kyle Sinclair the front row replacements, with Ollie Chesham the lock replacement, and veteran Billy Vunapola the number 8 replacement or flanker. I think he can play both pretty well. Denny Carey and George Ford the scrum half and fly half replacements, and center replacement Ollie Lawrence. Absolutely no changes to the starting 23-man squad that took down the host France last weekend. Stephen Kissoff, Franz Malherba, the starting props alongside Bongi Manambi at hooker. Eben Etzebeth, the boogeyman under the bed if you don't eat your veggies, and Franco Muster will be the lock starting duo. Captaining our side, Super Sia Colisi, Peter Steftatoy having another great World Cup with him, the flanker, and anchoring it all down, Thormulin himself, Dwayne Vermeulen. Hoping once again to harness the spirit of his father, Jaco Kobus Reinach will be getting the start at scrum half, and Super Manny Libok. I got to come up with it. Mean Manny Libok at fly half. The Cheetah, Cheslin Colby, and Kurtley Arenza will be the wings once again, with Damian Dialende and my personal man of the tournament so far for the Boks, Jesse Creel, man. Like, God, that guy's been delivering. And the call for the mark and scrum, Damien Philemsa will be at fullback. Front row replacements, and I don't know if we'll run with the same thing that we did last time, having Fody play flank and then hooker, but it'll be Dion Fody, Oxen Shea, and Vincent Kolk, the front row replacements. The Viking himself, R.G. Sneeman at lock, with Quokka Smith, a flanker. I mean, he could play wing if he probably wanted to. The final forward replacement. Faf de Klerk and Andre Pollard, who would be starting anywhere else in this tournament, will be coming off the bench in relief, with Philly LaRue, the the master of assisting tries. I mean, he's just, like I said in the previous video, I've been absolutely impressed. I was absolutely impressed with Andre last week. Coming on, obviously, able to kick the long kick. What was he, like 50-something meters out? And then just playing really sound defense. And you saw when that whistle went off, he was ecstatic. I mean, he lives for this. I think all of these boys live for these moments. And I think they relish in the pressure of elimination round rugby. And like I said, I picked the Boks by 16. I think it's going to be a lot more than that, to be completely honest with you. I just don't see the absence of Marcus Smith. I get it. Marcus Smith got the crap beat out of him at fullback last week. How do you think he'd do against yeah, it'd be even worse. I do think there is some talent on this English squad, and I'm not going to completely take it away from them, even though they came out of like the weakest pool, one of the weakest pools in the tournament. They did win to get here. They kind of had in the same situation after Eddie Jones. Eddie Jones goes to Australia and struggles. Borthwick kind of struggled in the beginning too, and he's kind of starting to put something together. Do I think they have what it takes to get past us? God, no. Not even close. And despite what the man who's lost his marbles, Sir Clive Woodward, has said, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, hopefully I'll post the graphic on the screen here. He claimed that Northern Hemisphere dominance was going to continue into the quarterfinal. Obviously, no, it didn't. He claims that England could beat. No, they can't. I just don't see it. Now, look, I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park, but I do think that we have the skill sets and we have the guys to put out there to win this one. I think 60 million fans just in South Africa. This team is something special. It's different than it was 4 years ago. The rise of Sia, Bongi Manombi, Cheslin Colby. This team is something different. And I think those of us who are Springbok fans see that. There's something different about this team. And I think, honestly, don't want to get too political about anything, but I think this team really represents South Africa. Like, the multiculturalness of it, the multi-ethnicities of it. You hear the name the Rainbow Nation constantly, and I think to the rest of the world, they don't really get what we mean by that. Look at the Springboks. It's a Rainbow Nation. We were sitting in a position 5 years sitting here talking about quotas. Nobody's talking about that anymore. Nobody's talking about that anymore. You look at 1995, you look at 2007, you look at 2019, and you look at 2023. This team has continued to show the true face of South Africa. And I think with each World Cup, it got more and more like the faces that you see in South Africa. And there's just something special about this team, and I think we're seeing it right now. I think with Cheslin, with Kirtley, with Bongi really, really just taking control with the absence of Malcolm Marks, we're really showing the world how special the rugby program is for South Africa right now. And I continue to support these boys through thick and thin. We've all been through hell with these guys. But I think there's just something a little special about this team this time. And I think a lot of people will tend to agree with me on that. There's just something magical about this team. And there was magic in the air in 2019, but I think it's just even a little bit more magic in 2023. So you guys let me know what you think. Do you think it's going to be a competitive game? Do you think it's going to be very one-sided? Do you think it takes a bit for us to get our feet underneath us? Let me know what you think. This is it, guys. Either way, we're playing a game next week. It's either the championship or the game that doesn't matter. I'd rather it be the championship game. Obviously, we will have the All Blacks and Los Pumas tomorrow going on at 1400, 2 p.m. local Central Standard Time. I will be watching that game with great intrigue, as I believe the All Blacks will win, and that's who we will meet. And how poetic would that be? It's damn near 30 years ago, guys. 1995, we were allowed to finally compete in a Rugby World Cup. Almost 30 years later, we've won 3. And we could potentially win our 4th. What this would mean for the people of South Africa would be immense. Behind, regardless of political beliefs, the ANC, the DA, the EFF, fucking Eskom and load shedding, the high unemployment, look, I don't want to bash it because we all know what's going on in South Africa. You just open your eyes. But the Springboks are giving something for you to be proud of. They do represent the biggest and best of what South Africa can do. And if those 23 boys can go out and win, you can win too, because they're just like you and me. You can look at those guys and see somebody that looks like you. Whether you look at Sia, or you look at Cheslin, or you look at Damien, or you look at Jesse, or you look at, like me, I look at Dwayne Vermeulen. We both have the bald spot. That team represents the best of everything. And they're the best in the world. And I really think this is a special team. So we shall see how it goes. You guys let me know in the comments. I'm not going to broadcast from my from my house. I have a house, not an apartment anymore. I will be going out to a pub. I may go live while I'm there, so you guys can kind of see a bunch of Springbok supporters in America supporting the team. Of course, Jess will be there. I'll have my colleague from work, Nick, possibly pop in on the broadcast so you guys can see an Englishman and his moment of absolute crushing defeat. He's not the biggest rugby guy. He's more of a football and a cricket guy. So, but you guys let me know in the comments. Go Springboks. That's really all I have to say. Cheers, guys.